Sultan Murad I was the fourth ruler of the Ottoman Empire, a time when the empire was expanding rapidly and consolidating power in the Balkans and Anatolia. His reign, which lasted from 1362 to 1389, was marked by military success, political reforms, and territorial growth. His leadership played a critical role in establishing the Ottomans as a dominant force in the region, but it was his assassination at the Battle of Kosovo that became one of the most defining moments in Ottoman history. Murad's death had immediate and far-reaching consequences, both for the Ottoman military and the succession of the throne, shaking the empire to its core. The Battle of Kosovo occurred on June 28, 1389, between the forces of Sultan Murad I and the Serbian army led by Prince Lazar Hrebeljanović. The battle was a critical point in the Ottoman Empire's quest for dominance in the Balkans. Murad had already led successful campaigns to secure Ottoman territory, including a series of victories in Diaz, Anatolia, and Eastern Europe. His focus on territorial expansion brought the Ottomans into direct conflict with the Serbs, who were determined to maintain their sovereignty in the region. The battle, which took place in the plains of Kosovo, was fierce, and while both sides suffered heavy losses, the Ottomans ultimately emerged victorious, further solidifying their power in the Balkans. However, the victory came at a great personal cost for the Ottoman Empire. During the battle, Sultan Murad I was assassinated by a Serbian assassin disguised as a prisoner. The assassin approached the Sultan under the pretense of surrendering and, once close enough, attacked and fatally stabbed Murad. The assassin was killed immediately, but the damage had been done. Murad I, the man who had led the Ottomans through a period of military expansion, was dead, and the consequences of his assassination would ripple through the empire for years to come. The assassination of Sultan Murad I was a shock to the Ottoman forces, who had relied heavily on his leadership. Murad was not only a military strategist, but also a symbol of Ottoman unity and strength. His sudden death threw the Ottoman army into a state of confusion and disarray, leaving the forces without clear leadership in the aftermath of the battle. While the Ottomans were victorious, Murad's assassination cast a shadow over the win, leaving many of his soldiers uncertain about the future of the empire. The sudden loss of their commander, especially in such a critical moment, made them question the stability of the Ottoman leadership. In the wake of Murad's death, the Ottoman succession was thrown into turmoil. Bayezid I, Murad's son, immediately ascended to the throne, but his rise was not without complications. The Ottoman system of succession was based on a complex system that allowed for multiple potential heirs, and Bayezid's ascension was contested by his brothers and other members of the royal family. This resulted in a power struggle within the Ottoman court, as various factions vied for control of the empire. Bayezid's rule would ultimately be solidified through military victory, but the internal divisions that emerged in the wake of Murad's assassination created a sense of political instability that would affect the Ottoman Empire for years to come. One of the most significant consequences of Murad's death was the political vacuum that it created. Murad had been a strong leader who had established himself as a capable ruler and military commander. His death left a leadership gap, particularly at a time when the Ottomans were heavily involved in territorial expansion and faced threats from both Christian powers in Europe and the Mamluks in the Middle East. The succession crisis that followed Murad's assassination further weakened the Ottoman state, and the power struggle within the royal family further distracted the empire from its external challenges. The Janissary Corps, the elite military unit created by Murad I, also faced a period of uncertainty following his death. Murad had established the Janissaries as the backbone of the Ottoman army, creating a professional and loyal force that was pivotal to the empire's success. However, the loss of their leader and the confusion surrounding the succession created a sense of instability within the army. The Janissaries, despite their loyalty to the Sultan, were not immune to the political upheaval that followed Murad's assassination, and their loyalty would be tested in the years that followed. Despite these challenges, the Ottomans were able to secure victory at the Battle of Kosovo, but Murad's death left a mark on the empire's ability to consolidate power in the region. While Bayezid proved to be a skilled military commander, his rise to power was marked by violence and conflict, leading to a series of internal struggles that undermined the stability of the empire. The Ottoman state would eventually recover under Bayezid's leadership, but the assassination of Murad I marked the beginning of a period of political instability that would plague the Ottomans in the years to come. The assassination also had symbolic significance. Sultan Murad I had been a figurehead of Ottoman unity, and his sudden death highlighted the vulnerability of the Ottoman leadership system. Despite the empire's military success, the Ottomans were faced with the uncomfortable realization that the centralization of power in one individual, even one as capable as Murad, left the empire open to instability in times of transition. In conclusion, the assassination of Sultan Murad I during the Battle of Kosovo had profound immediate consequences for the Ottoman Empire. His death left the empire without its strong, charismatic leader, leading to political instability and a succession crisis that weakened the empire. The events surrounding his assassination also highlighted the challenges of leadership transitions in a rapidly expanding empire and set the stage for the internal struggles that would define Ottoman politics in the years that followed. Despite the Ottoman victory at Kosovo, Murad's death would mark a turning point in Ottoman history, shaping the future trajectory of the empire. The death of Sultan Murad I at the Battle of Kosovo left an indelible mark on the Ottoman Empire, with profound long-term consequences for both the empire's military structure and its political future. Murad's assassination not only created a leadership vacuum at a critical juncture, but also led to shifts in the way the Ottoman state would operate in the centuries to come. The consequences of Murad's death were felt deeply in the short term, but they also set the stage for the challenges that the Ottoman Empire would face in its quest for stability, unity, and territorial expansion. Bayezid I, Murad's son, succeeded his father as Sultan following his assassination, but his path to the throne was fraught with challenges. Murad I had built a strong empire, but Bayezid's ascension was not smooth. The Ottoman succession system, which was based on hereditary rights but also allowed for potential rival claims, led to significant internal strife. Bayezid had to deal with rival factions within the Ottoman family, and a power struggle ensued that would continue to haunt the empire for years. The immediate succession crisis following Murad's death demonstrated the fragility of the Ottoman leadership structure, where disputes over the throne were common. Murad's death, coupled with Bayezid's violent suppression of rivals, revealed a vulnerability in the succession system that would continue to undermine the Ottoman state in the future. While Bayezid ultimately secured the throne, the internal discord weakened the Ottoman political structure and delayed the empire's full recovery. One of the immediate effects of Murad I's assassination was the disruption in the Ottoman military. Murad had established the Janissary Corps as a central force in the empire's army, and their loyalty had been tied directly to him. However, with his sudden death, the Janissaries found themselves facing a leadership transition. Bayezid's rise to power, marked by military violence and internal conflict, caused a shift in the loyalty dynamics within the Ottoman military. While the Janissary Corps remained an essential part of the Ottoman military, the internal strife and rivalries in the royal family led to a period of uncertainty in the army's cohesion and discipline. Despite these challenges, Bayezid I demonstrated his military skill and was able to maintain Ottoman control over much of the Balkans and Anatolia. He continued his father's policies of territorial expansion, securing the empire's position in Eastern Europe and the Mediterranean. However, the internal instability caused by Murad's assassination had significant repercussions for the Ottoman Empire's future. The political struggles that followed Murad's death would serve as a precursor to the long-term difficulties the Ottomans faced in maintaining centralized power. The assassination also had lasting implications for the Ottoman imperial administration. Murad I had been instrumental in centralizing the Ottoman state, ensuring that power was concentrated in the hands of the Sultan and his bureaucracy. However, the sudden death of the Sultan highlighted the fragility of this centralized structure. Bayezid I, though capable, was forced to contend with the powerful regional leaders and feudal lords who had significant influence within the empire. As the Ottomans continued to expand and face new challenges, the question of how to maintain a unified empire would become increasingly complex, with competing factions and interests vying for control. Beyond the immediate political turmoil, the assassination of Murad I also signaled a turning point in the Ottoman military strategy. Murad's reign had been marked by the professionalization of the Ottoman military, particularly through the creation of the Janissary Corps. His death, however, led to a shift in how military campaigns were conducted. While Murad had focused on consolidating Ottoman power in the Balkans, Bayezid's reign saw a renewed focus on military expansion in the east and south, particularly against the Mamluks in Egypt. The Ottoman military, while still formidable, became embroiled in new conflicts, some of which resulted in military overextension and resource strain on the empire. The rise of Bayezid I, who became known as Bayezid the Thunderbolt, marked a period of fierce military campaigns and expansion. His reign saw significant victories, but it also saw his overreach in several key battles, including the Battle of Nicopolis, 1396, against the European Crusaders. While Bayezid's military prowess allowed him to win key battles, the internal instability that followed Murad's assassination meant that his success was fragile. The Ottoman Empire would face increasing difficulties in the following decades. And while Bayezid succeeded in consolidating power in the short term, his reign highlighted the risks of internal divisions and the challenges of managing an empire as vast and diverse as the Ottoman state. The legacy of Murad I is marked by his military and administrative reforms, which laid the foundation for the empire's success. His efforts to professionalize the Ottoman military, particularly through the creation of the Janissary Corps, were instrumental in establishing the Ottoman Empire as a dominant power in the region. Murad's assassination, however, revealed vulnerabilities in the Ottoman system. His sudden death exposed the fragility of the leadership transition process and the challenges of succession in a highly centralized empire. The impact of his assassination can still be seen in the Ottoman Empire's future, as it led to a period of political instability, succession crises, and military overextension. In the long term, Murad's assassination changed the way the Ottoman Empire navigated its internal and external challenges. The Ottoman succession system, which had been relatively stable under Murad I, would evolve in the centuries that followed. The assassination also altered the course of Ottoman military strategy, forcing future sultans to confront the challenges of managing an empire that had expanded far beyond its initial borders. The legacy of Murad I remains one of strength and reform, but his assassination marked a key turning point in Ottoman history. His death at the Battle of Kosovo was not just the loss of a king, it was the loss of a leader who had shaped the empire's identity. Despite the turmoil that followed, his reforms continued to influence the Ottoman Empire for generations, ensuring that his legacy lived on long after his untimely death.